Howdy, 7th grade. Today we are going to learn about how to round and how to estimate. So we're going to start out by rounding, because I'm hoping this is something you've seen before. And for rounding, what's going to happen is our first step is we are going to look one digit to the right of where we're rounding. We want to see if it's 0 through 4. Or if it's a 5 through 9. And that'll make more sense in a second, or since I'm guessing most of us have rounded before, it might already make sense. So 0 through 4, we are going to do what we call round down, which means we're going to keep our rounded digit, and if it's 5 through 9, we're going to round up, which means we are going to increase our rounded digit by 1. So I want us to try this real quick. What I'm going to say is I would want to round has a D, not a T, there we go, to the thousands. And I'm going to round 53,654. So what we do is, if I'm rounding to the thousands, that's this digit right here, so I look one to the right, which is right there, one to the right. And that one is 6, which is bigger than 5, which means I'm going to round up. So when I'm rounding up, I'm going to change this number from 53 to 54, and everything else becomes a 0 afterwards. So all I do is I check to see if it's a 5 or bigger, or if it's a 4 or lower. 5 and bigger, I round up, which means I change the number upwards. 4 or lower, I just leave it the same. Let's try one more tricky one. So if I round to the ones, and I have the number 19.75. What I would do is I'd look at my ones, and then I look one digit to the right. So this one right here is bigger than 5, so it means we are going to round up. 19 here, I'm going to add 1 to. 19 plus 1 is going to be 20, and I end up with $20 rounded. And just so that we can see what happens when we round it down, if this was 19.25, rounding to the ones, I would look one number to the right. That is less than 1, so I leave the 19 how it is, and end up with 19 flat. That's pretty much what rounding is. When we are estimating is going to be doing math. Sorry, estimating is doing math with rounded numbers. So a long time ago, I used to work at a Five Guys, and I made an astounding $8.25 an hour. And I worked, it was a really weird job, I worked 18 hours a week. So I want to know, how much did I make in a week? For this, I'm going to estimate, so I'm going to round. My 8.25 is very close. I'm going to use a squiggly equal sign to say it's not actually equal to, but it's close to just $8. And that's going to make my life a lot easier doing the math. I'm going to say that 18 hours is about equal to 20. So if I'm trying to figure out about how much I'd make in a week, that would be 8 times 20 equals $160, which is pretty close. We could do the actual math here. I think it would be just a couple dollars less than this, but it's actually very, very close to the actual answer. So all we're doing with estimating is we are rounding our numbers, then we're doing the math, and then we get a number that's pretty close. I would love it if we could make sure we did the practice set. I believe there's 9 problems in that for y'all, so it goes from A to I. A to I. Don't do the ones with the numbers, do the ones with the letters. Thank you very much, and that would be delightful. Have a great evening. I'll see y'all tomorrow.